Hi everyone, I am Rima from The Guiding Star. I just instinctively wanted to make a remake of my video on the Manglik Dosh and Mangal Dosh because the previous one was way too long and I wanted to condense the content. Also, there was some content that was not fully accurate. So let's get to the topic, Mangal Dosh. All of you who are from India, you know what I'm talking about. One of the most infamous, I would say, dosh in Indian astrology, Vedic astrology, is the Manglik or the Mangal Dosh. Dosh in general means, dosh you can say, it means like, there's a negative connotation to it. It's almost like, I'm trying to find the right word for it. I know it means, a dosh means fault in a way, like a faulty combination in your chart, if I may say. But there is, that Mangal Dosh, the term even dosh, the faulty connotation, does not apply to today's world, and I want to explain all of that. I want to bust your misconceptions about the Mangal Dosh. There's a lot of wrong information about it. There are many astrologers who don't even know what truly Mangal Dosh is, and there are many that know it, but they want to keep to the original concept of it and keep the fear in people's mind because it helps them sell gemstones and sell remedies, and it's become purely commercial in nature. So Mangal Dosh obviously is related to planet Mangal, which is the planet Mars, and it's related to specific positions of Mars in your chart. If you looked at my video previously, just right beneath this, you can look at the houses. I've explained the houses in a chart. So if you haven't seen the video, watch it because it'll help you understand what I'm talking about right now. It's whenever the planet Mars or Mangal in anybody's natal chart, in your birth chart, or in other words, your kundli, your horoscope, or in other words, your lagna chart. Lagna chart means the marriage of your body to your soul. That's why it's called the lagna. It's not your marriage chart. It's you getting married to your soul, your body getting married to your soul. So whenever in your birth chart, as per Indian sidereal Vedic astrology, Mars is in these houses. It's called Mangal Dosh in the house, in the first, second, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. First, second, fourth, seventh, eighth, and 12th house. In these positions, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. First, correct, second, fourth, seventh, eighth, and 12th house. That's correct. Whenever Mars is in these houses, you have what is called as Manglik Dosh. Now, there are times when your Mangal Dosh can get cancelled, the intensity can be enhanced or reduced. I don't want to go into those complications. An astrologer can look at your chart and tell you that. You would want to consult an astrologer, a seasoned, proper astrologer who knows their stuff, to understand how strong your Mangal Dosh is and if there is anything you need to do about it for the remedies. But I will talk about some of the remedies today as well. So when you have these positions, you are said to have Mangal Dosh. Now, Manglik Dosh in the olden times was extremely negative in a girl's chart, very considered very negative in a girl's chart. I will tell you it does not apply to today's world, and I'll tell you the reason why. But I first want to explain what Mangal Dosh is and what are the qualities of a person who has a Mangal Dosh. I want to tell you that I'm a Manglik, and I'm very proud to be a Manglik. I am blessed, I would say I'm very blessed to be a Manglik. The reason is Mangal, the planet Mars, especially, so there can be good Manglik and bad Manglik, which means that the Mars in your chart can be a benefic good Mars, it can be a strong, healthy Mars, or it can be a negative, unhealthy Mars. Nevertheless, there's something good about it. Nevertheless, every planet in a chart will give you something good. It may give you something good to a lesser extent or to a very large extent, right? Obviously, I have a very benefic Mars, so I have a very good Mangal, but I still have the impact of Mangal Dosh. But when you have a very good Mangal in your chart and with the Manglik attached on top of it, right? Basically, a Manglik person with a good, strong Mars has these qualities. They are they're like the planet Mars, enhanced qualities of Mars. First, number one quality, they are very brave. Very, very brave. A strong Mars is considered, is given the connotation or representation of a soldier. The army person who puts on their suit, goes to fight a war to save the king and the entire kingdom. So it's very patriotic by heart. I'm a very patriotic person, I will tell you that. And then it will give its life, it'll leave behind its family, it'll sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed. It will work hard to build its stamina, immunity, every day be disciplined to hone its skills and strength so that it can fight at any time, right? And at the time of emergency, you can suddenly call a soldier, wake, like even at 2 a.m, like anytime, you can say, it's time for you to fight, you need to go protect your country. And a good Mars will do it. How do you translate that to the day-to-day world? A good Mars will follow its duty. It's a very dutiful planet. If it's in a good position, it will give its life to the people it works for, to whatever it's dedicated to, whether that's family, its homeland, the employer or the people it works for, the friends it has. Like Mars will give its life. So it's very brave. They're not scared. A good Mangal people are not, doesn't mean that they are completely foolproof, right? But they are much, the intensity of their fear is 2,000 times lesser than other people who would get scared in situations like that they could be put into. It's brave. It will take risks. It will be patriotic. It will be very, very loyal. It will follow its duty, be very disciplined. It can be an excellent manager, because think of what a soldier has to do, an army person. They have to learn so many skills, right? First of all, they have to be very independent, very independent. They're away from family, so they have to make many sacrifices. They have to learn how to cook, how to be have strong body immunity, strong emotional immunity. They have to be quick thinkers. They have to be able to just manage 10 different things to be a soldier, and then be at their feet at the blink of an eye, be ready to, give their life and go fight a war if they have to. Now, all of those qualities will come true in a person that has a very strong Mars. Now, there are certain things I said in the chart which can even further enhance that Mars, right? So, if, for example, my Mars is with the Sun. So when you have Sun, who's the king, and now you have the Mars sitting with the Sun, the king and the general are now together. Imagine how strong that combination is. This Mars is going to dedicate its life to fulfill what the Sun, the king, wants it to do, and it has the support of the king. The king will support the Mars, and the Mars, they're like best friends, in other words. So there are things that can enhance your Mars, there are things that can reduce your impact of Mars, so all of that can happen. But nevertheless, a good, strong Mars will give you these qualities. On the flip side, the reason why Mangal Dosh has a negative name is because, given the qualities that the soldier has to have, Mars can also be a very impulsive planet, right? It is very quick, because a soldier also always has to be quick. Now, you put a soldier in a kitchen, you put a soldier in a home, you put a soldier in places where it doesn't have to show neat qualities of a soldier, it still has its characteristics. It's very, very impulsive. It's very quick. It can be very aggressive. It takes everything very seriously. So there's duty is always on top of the line. So even you cannot put it in a humorous, light, easygoing situation. Mars doesn't enjoy. It doesn't quite know that. Yeah, you can have fun for a little bit, but then you always have to be on the guard. You always have to perform a duty. You always have to be responsible. So there can be that sense of aggressiveness, which Mars needs to learn, which it will learn over time, over age, to hone down those skills of how do you be diplomatic in relationships. Mars doesn't know how to do that. It just knows how to be blunt, to the point, just say what you have to say, be very direct, right? Now, in personal life, in marriage, that doesn't quite work. You can't just tell people what's on your mind. You have to be diplomatic in relationships. You have to make, in a family situation, the way a Mars will sacrifice, it will sacrifice by saying, I will do everything I need to do to protect you. But I will take all the responsibility of how to do that. I will decide how to do that. I will go fight the war. You just leave everything on me, how I will fight the war. You don't need to tell me how to fight a war, right? Like, I know how to do it. But in a family situation, Mars does not quite understand that I need to give over control to other people as well, right? Like, the part of the sacrifice can look very different. The way you sacrifice is by, you don't always take control. You're not always the leader in a family situation. You have to be more cooperative in nature, right? So if Mars has generally, and it doesn't work well in family settings, marriage, personal life, because or unless Mars is given the ability to shine in its leadership. Like, unless if Mars is given the Levi to be the leader, unless you receive that, Mars is not going to enjoy it. It doesn't like being second. It doesn't like it likes following orders from the king, right? As long as the king is not cruel, right? And as long as the king is trusting Mars to follow everything it needs to follow and not give it the minuscule nitty-gritty details. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes. So it really depends on other factors of how well your Mars works. But in general, in the day-to-day family life, Mars always wants to fight. It always wants competition. You can't have competition in a marriage. You can't have competition in a family situation. There has to be Venus qualities. Venetian qualities are you trade, you become diplomatic, you're very soft and gentle, you're very thoughtful, you're beautiful. And Mars is like, I don't care about spending 2 hours in a beauty salon wanting to look good. Like, that's Venetian quality, that's Venus. That's not Mars. Mars doesn't care about looking good. Mars wants to go out and exercise and be active and adventurous. And so that's why many times, the reason why Mangal Dosh, especially for girls, was given a very negative connotation in the older times is because a girl's duty or the image, the expectation, the gender expectation in the Indian culture was chudi pehno, right? You wear bangles, you wear a sari, you look good, you cook, you take care of children, you just stay at home, and that's it. But Mars, a Mars person has so many talents. They're very passionate by nature. They're filled with passion. Like, they want to explore life. They want to live life to the deepest. They want to give 1,000%. They want leadership qualities. They have multiple talents that they want to share with the world, which then, in the typical home environment, they're not allowed to do that. They're not given that leeway to express. And typically, the reason why Mars, Mangal Dosh, especially if you have a good, strong Mangal Dosh, it's very important for you to understand this, because if you have that, like I do, you are meant to contribute to the world. You're meant to live a life that is very ambitious, that's very career-driven in many ways, right? And career doesn't mean you're doing a job and earning, but you're using your talents to express and contribute to society in a very specific, meaningful way. That is your purpose as a Mangal Dosh, good Mangal Dosh. So in the olden times, that was obviously not encouraged or allowed for women, and that's why it was given all the negative connotation. And then when they said that you marry somebody with a Mangal Dosh, and if you're not a Mangal Dosh, you'll die, that's all bogus. That's complete nonsense. That's not true. In some circumstances, there is partial truth to it, and I will explain it. Maybe in this video, I might make a part 2, maybe. But ideally, what I want to do is tell you what Mars in each of the houses means. That Mangal Dosh in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 7th, 8th, and 12th house, and why it's called a Mangal Dosh. Ideally, I want to explain that. But please know that if you are a Mangal Dosh, a good Mangal Dosh, especially a good, even if your Mangal is not very strong, it'll apply. I need to talk about that separately. But if you're a very strong, good Mangal Dosh, you're not meant to just stay at home and become a typical housewife. You won't enjoy it. You will not be satisfied. There will be a lot of arguments at home. If you're a Mangal Dosh and you're having arguments at home, you know that means you need to direct your energies towards doing something constructive outside of the home. Contribute, and that'll really reduce your focus and your impact on family life, and so that'll automatically reduce your arguments. That's why we say that you want to marry another Mangal Dosh. A Manglik needs to marry another good Manglik. The reason is both are ambitious by nature. Both need a lot of freedom and independence. Both are leaders. So if it's two good Manglik Dosh, they might butt heads a lot, but they will also have a lot of understanding and strength and unity, because then they will understand each other's mindset. So it's like you're fighting like crazy, and then you also give each other space and allow each other to do what you want to do. And you will find that both of those spouses, like each partner, is likely traveling, they're away for long periods, doing their career things. Like they may not even spend as much time together as a couple as somebody who doesn't have Mangal Dosh and has a good marriage chart. They may be spending a lot of time together. Manglik people may not do that, but they will still be happy together. Like they will be okay being together, because that's what feeds their soul. That is the only reason a Manglik Dosh needs to marry another Mang. There's no other reason, really. Like everything else is so made up. It burns my heart. Like you can feel the passion of Mars coming out. Like it really makes me so angry and agitated that astrologers sell all these false concepts. Many of them don't even know the truth themselves, or they're doing it to give you like these gemstones and spend a ton of money, which you don't need to. There are remedies for Mangal Dosh, practical remedies, which is not related to gemstones, which I want to share with you. But maybe let's do that in part 2. I don't want to make this video too long. But please know that's the only reason you need to marry another Manglik Dosh. If you have a very strong Manglik Dosh, then obviously you want to marry, definitely a very good Mars. If you have sort of a mediocre, low-intensity Manglik Dosh, you could marry a Shani person instead. You could. Again, there's plus and minus to that. What I mean by a Shani person. A Shani person is somebody who has a very strong Saturn and a good Saturn in their chart. And they don't have Manglik Dosh. Or a very low intensity Manglik Dosh. Likely they don't have Manglik Dosh. The reason is a Shani person, Mangal is very, it could be aggressive, it could be fast paced, right? A Shani is the total opposite. It is passive, it's slow, it's wise, it will think before it speaks or makes a decision. So Mangal could be investing money risk in a just very impulsive, risky way, like taking risks that are not healthy. So Shani person will balance that, right? They will have them take a back seat, reflect, ask them to look at many different angles. So practical living is Shani. Adventurous, fun, leadership living is Mars. So together they can make a good combination, but the frustration can be, especially for a Mars person that wants things quick. So Mars will say, suddenly it'll say, let's go for a movie right now, like just in an hour, right? They'll just change their mind so quickly, and Shani will be like, let me think about it and let you know. And 1 hour has passed and Shani has no reply. The next day has come and Shani will be like, let's go for a movie now. And Mars will be like, I'm not in any mood now. Like now you made me wait for 1 full day. Like I'm not in any mood to do that now. So the conflict can be pretty intense in that sense, where dissatisfaction, if I may say. Same thing for a Shani person, right? Shani person may not like the quickness of Mars. But if your Mangal is low intensity, your Manglik intensity is not that high, you will not have that strong of the Mars qualities, then you might do well with the Shani person. But yeah, it reminds me of my best friend. My best friend and me, we are both Manglik. I think he also has Shani qualities. So we would really fight like crazy. Like we are the perfect example of the love-hate, where we cannot live without fighting with each other. We cannot live with each other also, but then we have the best relationship, the strongest bond ever. And that's a great example of two Manglik. I didn't even realize for years that we are both Manglik. That even if we butt heads, and I'm sharing this because it's true for if you're a Manglik and you marry another Manglik, you will see that. Like, even if we argue, like we really argue, serious arguments, we won't be talking for like 6 months or 3 months. Like it's crazy. But in between us, between that time of silence or our arguments, when we are arguing, if there's somebody else who comes in the way, oh boy, like you're going to have a very hard time. Like, or if they try to talk against either of us, right? So if I've argued with my best friend, and if you were a really good friend of mine and you come and say that, yeah, like he's not treating you well, or that's not right, you try to take my side, you've had it. Like you're going to be, so what I mean to say is that both the Manglik Dosh people are going to be very united, even though in the face value, it may look like they're arguing a lot, or there is a lot of conflict. That's why I like to push this idea. I really like to tell people that this is the reason you need to marry a Manglik Dosh. And you will support each other's talents and allow each other to express that outside, and not bound each other to the traditional family expectations based on the Indian culture expectations. So that's about it for today. Let me make a part 2 on all the different houses where Mangal Dosh is and what that means, because otherwise it will be a very long video. This is Rima Desai from The Guiding Star. Thank you for watching and listening. I love bringing a lot of knowledge on astrology. I, in fact, want to make many videos if I could, I don't know, on psychology and spirituality, concepts like, people keep asking me, who is an empath? What is starseed? How do you know you are an empath? How can you grow your intuition? All of these are at the back of my hand, right? These are my skills. They're like ingrained in me. It's in my DNA. I live my life like this, but I think it's so second nature to me. It doesn't even occur to me to make video on that. Like I feel like everybody would know the stuff. It's so simple, but it's not for many people who are not in that realm. I understand that. Talk about anxiety, depression, parenting. Those are all my lovely topics that I love to talk about. I don't know if I'll ever get to that, like really making a series of specific topic, but at least for now, I will keep bringing you more astrology. Okay, Rima from The Guiding Star. Have a beautiful, beautiful week ahead. Bye-bye.